You murder and I'm going to the cops.
Emotions have been put.
Stop! Oh my God, stop! I remember a woman, screaming. And there was blood everywhere.
Okay, so the writers did something interesting in the mid-season finale opening scene. Kind of like the cliffhanger of last week combined with the opening of this week. It mirrors the season 6 finale with Dani being attacked in the parking lot. But then we get to season 7, episode 1, and the opening scene is Dani waking up from a nightmare, indicating that her getting attacked at her job in the parking lot, presumably by Jonah, was no more than a nightmare, bad dream. But then you look at the Penelope situation and it's like, wait, so did this really happen? Now on the offset, it's like, well, the opening scene seemed pretty convincing. You got Dagger talking to Gary about everything involving this not being their first rodeo together. And this time he made a bigger mess than usual. And then Andi just woke up scared to death, hearing a woman screaming, couldn't put a face to the scream, but she just felt like someone was in trouble and there was a lot of blood. And then, ironically enough, the next day, she wound up in the scene of the supposed crime, assuming it really happened. But, I mean, honestly, I think it could go either way. There are some people like, no, Jeremy, Penelope's not dead. Now, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate, or maybe I think the correct phrase is, I'm going to play Tyler's advocate and say that, I don't know, it could be either or. I think that we could be looking at a situation where Andi was having a dream, which was a manifestation of everything she had learned about Gary in recent days after her friend from college, Brenton, did all that research. And I remember Andi probably at this point, well, no doubt, she sat down and read through everything, and her stomach was probably churning after seeing all of the various evil deeds that Gary has been either linked to, confirmed to be, guilty of and gotten away with, and what have you. So I'm thinking if you combine that information with her telling Penelope these things, particularly the Kimberly Potter, was it Potter? Yeah, the Potter case. She probably was remembering herself in season 1 when you had Leslie, the private investigator, telling her about all of Gary's foul play. Yet she still continued to want to believe that he couldn't be capable of doing this because she was blinded by love. Perhaps she saw herself in Penelope, so her fears were that Penelope would confront Gary. So it is quite possible that the whole situation about, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Penelope did go to the office because she went earlier in the day when Zach was just leaving, and then she stayed there that night. So, I mean, maybe in Andi's dream, like she just dreamt the worst about the situation. Penelope did go to Gary's office to confront him, but things didn't go down exactly the way we saw it on screen. Perhaps Gary did hurt Penelope, but he didn't toss her on the floor and her stomach burst, and then her and that baby died and needed to be cleaned up. It is a bit of a stretch, but hey, these writers have been doing an interesting job this season, so I wouldn't put it past them to pull something like this where, Penelope was probably hurt. Because remember in episode 2, when Penelope and Gary were leaving the penthouse after having dinner with Jordan and Andi, we did see him grab her by the shoulders, just like he did in the penultimate episode of the episode 10 of this season. So what do you think? Do you think that Gary actually killed Penelope and his unborn child, and Andi had like a premonition and then woke up? Or do you think everything that happened on screen that we saw involving the bloody murder of Penelope and the unborn child, that was all just real and she reacted to it? I don't know. This is a coin toss. I mean, honestly, I feel like I repeated myself just there because I'm mentally going through this in my head. Like, okay, did she dream it? Did she dream it? Or did, she really get killed and Andi just I felt a disturbance. My Gary senses are tingling. And I mean, given the fact that they were involved for so long, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case either. But, yeah, this is pretty crazy. I mean, maybe Penelope got spooked and ran, or maybe Gary kind of took her hostage. You know, maybe she got grabbed on by Gary and Hudson or whoever, took her away somewhere because, like, yo, she knows about Kimberly. Get the heck out of here. You know, take her somewhere. Take, like the Oval. Hey, take her to the bunker in the White House. What? And then she's sitting next to Kareem and Antonio. Man, I'm sorry, that was a bit random, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this was all a dream, or did this really happen and Andi just felt it a force? So with that being said, like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.